Would you move to a city where you can grab dinner on a historic town square, hike a mountain before work, catch a Braves game that night, and still be less than 30 minutes from Atlanta? That's exactly why so many people are moving to Marietta, Georgia. But before you pack that moving truck, there's a few things you need to know. In this video, we're going to cover what life is really like in Marietta, including housing, pricing, school, taxes, commute times, things to do, and some surprises that many people don't discover until they've actually moved here. And make sure you stick around until the end because I'm going to share the #1 thing people tell me after they lived in Marietta for a while. It's probably not what you expect, and it may completely change how you think about this city. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jacquee Hart with Hart Realty Partners. Along with my husband Greg, we help buyers relocate to Metro Atlanta and North Georgia every single year. In fact, some of the most common calls, texts, and emails we receive from people asking one simple question: what is it really like to live in Marietta? Not the brochure version, not the tourist version. What does every day actually look like? Well, today I'm giving you the inside scoop on one of Metro Atlanta's most popular cities so you can decide whether Marietta may be a good fit for you and your lifestyle and the goals that you have. Let's start with location because location is one of the biggest reasons people end up choosing Marietta in the first place. Marietta is located in Cobb County, just northwest of Atlanta. Depending on where you're going, the traffic conditions downtown Atlanta is usually about 25 to 35 minutes away. One of the reasons people love Marietta is that it gives you access to many of the things people associate Atlanta with while still maintaining its own unique identity. You're close to major employment centers. You're close to professional sports, you're close to shopping, dining, entertainment, and one of the busiest airports in the entire world. But when you're actually in Marietta, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're living in the middle of a major city. The city has its own personality, its own culture, its own traditions, and that's something a lot of people appreciate. For frequent travelers, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport is typically about 35 to 45 minutes away, depending on traffic. If you're a Braves fan, you'll be happy to know that Truist Park and the Battery Atlanta are right down the road. Weekend trips to North Georgia mountains are easy. Lake Allatoona is nearby, and if you enjoy having options, Marietta puts you in a pretty convenient location. Now, location is important, but what most people really want to know is, what does life actually feel like after you move here? Now let's talk about that. One of the first things you'll notice about Marietta is it feels established. This isn't a city where everything was built like 5 years ago. Marietta has history. In fact, it's one of the most oldest cities in Georgia. You'll find mature trees lining many of the streets, historic homes, established neighborhoods, locally owned businesses, and a downtown area that serves as the heart of the community. One thing I hear from people moving here is that Marietta feels authentic. It doesn't feel like it was created overnight. There's a sense of character that comes from decades of growth and development. Now, that doesn't mean everything is old. Far from it. You'll find newer communities, renovated homes, modern townhomes, and plenty of updated amenities. But there's a mix here that many people find appealing. Another thing you'll notice is that people seem to genuinely enjoy living here. Throughout the year, you'll find community events and concerts and festivals and farmers markets and local gatherings that bring residents together. It feels like a city where people actually participate in the community. And speaking of community, there's one area of Marietta that really serves as the center of it all: Marietta Square. If you've never visited Marietta before, this is probably where you'll want to start. The square is often one of the first places I tell people to visit when they're exploring the city. Why? Because it gives you a feel for what Marietta is all about. Picture a historic downtown area centered around a beautiful green space. Around that green space, you'll find local restaurants, coffee shops, boutiques, breweries, ice cream shops, and small businesses. Throughout the year, the square hosts community events, concerts, seasonal celebrations, art festivals, and one of the area's most popular farmers markets. It's the type of place where people gather. You'll see families walking around. You'll have friends meeting for dinner, people enjoying live music, and visitors exploring the area. The square is also home to some of Marietta's historic charm. You'll find architecture and buildings that help tell the story of the city's past while still serving a vibrant destination today. One of the reasons so many people love living in Marietta is because they have access to a downtown area that feels active and alive. And honestly, that's becoming harder and harder to find. Now, here's where things start getting a little interesting, because while many people think Marietta is one thing, it's actually made up of several distinct areas that each have their own personality. And before we dive into those different areas, let's talk about something everybody wants to know. How much does it cost to buy a home in Marietta? As of this recording, in June of 2026, Zillow reports that the average home value in Marietta is approximately $478,000. Of course, if you're watching this months or years later, those numbers may have changed. The real estate market is always moving, but what's important to understand is that Marietta offers a wide variety of housing options. You'll find condos, townhomes, historic homes, traditional suburbs, golf course communities, luxury properties, and everything in between. One of the reasons Marietta appeals to so many different buyers is that because there isn't just one type of housing. You can find homes that were built decades ago with mature landscaping and larger lots. You can find newly renovated properties. You can find newer construction communities, and depending on where you look, home prices can vary significantly. That's why I always encourage buyers to explore multiple areas before deciding where they want to focus their search. Because one section of Marietta can feel completely different from another. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Coming up, we're going to break down the major areas of Marietta, including Historic Marietta, East Cobb, West Marietta, South Marietta, and you guessed it, North Marietta, so you can better understand what makes each area unique. Now let's talk about the different areas of Marietta, because this is where many people get surprised. A lot of people think that Marietta is just one big community. In reality, it's made up of several different areas, each with its own housing styles, amenities, and personality. For school research, I'm using a third party as a resource, greatschools.org and niche.com, to review the most current ratings, reviews, academics, extracurricular activities, and attendance information. Whew. With all that said, let's take a tour around Marietta. Let's start with Historic Marietta. Historic Marietta surrounds the Marietta Square and is known for its historic homes, established neighborhoods, mature trees, walkable downtown atmosphere. You'll find everything from restored historic homes to renovated bungalows and the newer infill construction. One of the schools associated with this area is Marietta High School. As of this recording, Great School gives Marietta High School an 8 out of 10, while niche.com gives the school an A-. Now, one thing people love about this area is easy access to the square, local restaurants, community events, and all the charm that comes with a historic downtown. Now, let's move over to East Cobb. East Cobb is probably one of the most recognized areas associated with Marietta. You'll find a wide variety of neighborhoods, shopping centers, restaurants, parks, golf communities, and housing options throughout East Cobb. This area is also home to several schools that relocating buyers frequently research. For example, Walton High School currently holds a 10 out of 10 rating on greatschools.org and an A+ rating on niche.com. Lassiter High School currently holds a 10 out of 10 rating on greatschools.org and an A+ rating on niche.com. Pope High School currently holds a 10 out of 10 rating on greatschools.org and an A+ rating on niche.com. Because East Cobb is such a large area, you'll find a wide variety of housing options, ranging from townhouses and traditional subdivisions to luxury properties and golf course communities. And here's something many people don't realize. East Cobb isn't actually a city. It's an unincorporated area of Cobb County that carries several different mailing addresses, including Marietta. Coming up next, we're heading to West Marietta, and this feels completely different than East Cobb. West Marietta offers a mix of established neighborhoods, newer developments, larger lots in some areas, and convenient access to neighborhood communities such as Kennesaw and Dallas. One school that serves portions of West Marietta is Harrison High School. As of recording this video, Harrison High School holds a 9 out of 10 on greatschools.org and an A+ rating on niche.com. Many residents appreciate the variety of housing styles available throughout West Marietta, as well as its proximity to parks, recreation, and shopping. Now let's head over to South Marietta. South Marietta provides convenient access to Atlanta and several major employment centers throughout Metro Atlanta. You'll find a mix of established neighborhoods, condominiums, townhomes, and single-family homes throughout the area. One school that serves portions of South Marietta is Wheeler High School. Wheeler High School holds a 7 out of 10 on greatschools.org and an A+ rating on niche.com. Wheeler is also known for its nationally recognized STEM program, which is one of the many reasons buyers researching the area often come across the school during their search. Now, let's head north. North Marietta offers a combination of established communities, newer developments, and convenient access to neighboring cities like Kennesaw and Acworth. One school serving portions of North Marietta is Sprayberry High School. Sprayberry High School holds an 8 out of 10 rating on greatschools.org and an A rating on niche.com. One thing you'll notice as you explore the North Marietta area is the variety. You'll find everything from traditional neighborhoods to newer developments, along with convenient access to shopping and dining in parks and recreational opportunities. By now, you've probably noticed a common theme. There isn't just one version of Marietta. Different areas offer different housing styles, different price points, different amenities, different commute options. And that's one of the reasons so many people end up considering Marietta when relocating to the Metro Atlanta area. Now, before we move on, I want to say one more thing about schools. Ratings can change, attendance zones can change, and every family values things differently. And that's why I always encourage people to review greatschools.org or niche.com directly and conduct their own research based on what's important to them. Now, if you have found another source or a resource that you have used that has served you well, drop it in the comments below. We would love to know. Now let's switch gears because another topic that catches people off guard when moving to Marietta is property taxes. If you're relocating from another state, Georgia property taxes may work differently than what you're used to. Property taxes in Cobb County are based on 40% of the home's assessed value rather than the full market value. And homeowners who qualify may be eligible for homestead exemptions that can help reduce their tax burden. For example, a home with a market value of $500,000 would have an assessed value of approximately $200,000 before exemptions are applied. The exact tax amount will depend on the property's location, millage rates, and any exemptions for which the homeowner qualifies. Because tax situations vary, I always recommend speaking with your lender, tax professional, or Cobb County directly to understand exactly what your costs may look like before purchasing a home. And while taxes may not be the most exciting thing to talk about, understanding them upfront can save you from, surprises later, and we don't like that kind of surprise. And now that we've talked about schools, home prices, taxes, let's talk about the real reason people fall in love after they moved here. Everything there is to do, because if you enjoy parks, trails, local events, restaurants, shopping, and have plenty of options on the weekends, you're definitely going to want to hear what comes next. Now let's talk about one of the biggest reasons people end up loving Marietta after they move here. There is a lot to do. I mean, a lot. Whether you enjoy the outdoors, live music, local restaurants, community events, professional sports, or just have options on the weekends, Marietta delivers. Let's start with one of the area's biggest attractions, Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park. If you've never visited, this is one of the most popular outdoor destinations in all of Metro Atlanta. The park offers miles of hiking, trails, scenic overlooks, paved walking paths, historical sites, and beautiful views of the surrounding area. People visit for the exercise. Some people come for the history. Others simply want a place to get outside and enjoy nature. Either way, it's one of those places that many residents find themselves visiting over and over again. And if hiking isn't your thing, don't worry. Marietta has numerous parks, playgrounds, sports complexes, walking trails, recreation facilities throughout the city. Families can spend a Saturday at the park, athletes can find fields and courts, and outdoor enthusiasts have no shortage of places to explore. But outdoor recreation is only part of the story. Now, let's talk about food. Because if you're someone who enjoys trying new restaurants, Marietta offers a little bit of everything. Downtown Marietta alone features a wide variety of local-owned restaurants, coffee shops, bakeries, breweries, and gathering spots. One night you might grab a burger, the other night you might grab some Italian food, the following weekend you could be trying a new brunch spot you've never heard of before. And that's part of the fun. There's always seems to be something new to discover. The Marietta Square also hosts numerous festivals and community events throughout the year. From farmers markets to art festivals to holiday celebrations, the calendar will stay busy. One thing many residents tell me is that they don't have to drive into Atlanta to find something to do. There's already plenty to do right here in Marietta. And speaking of entertainment, let's talk about sports. One of the biggest advantages of living in Marietta is its proximity to Truist Park and the Battery at Atlanta. If you're a Braves fan, this is a huge perk. And if you're not a baseball fan, the Battery has become one of the most popular entertainment destinations in Metro Atlanta. Restaurants, shopping, live music, events, and of course, Braves games. Many residents love the fact that they can enjoy all of that without having to make a long drive across town. Now let's talk shopping, because whether you're running errands or planning a shopping day, you'll find plenty of options nearby. Marietta offers everything from locally owned boutiques to national retailers. You'll also find convenient access to shopping destinations in Kennesaw, East Cobb, Woodstock, Roswell, and beyond. One thing you'll quickly learn is that you're rarely far from whatever you need. Now, before you start packing that moving truck, let's talk about something that every relocation buyer asks me about: traffic. Because if you're moving anywhere in North Metro Atlanta area, traffic is going to be a part of the conversation. The truth is, traffic exists. There is no way around it. Depending on where you're commuting and what time you're traveling, you may encounter congestion on I-75, Interstate 285, Highway 41, and other major roadways. That's simply part of living in a major metropolitan area. However, commute experiences vary significantly depending on where you live and where you work. Some people working remotely may have a completely different experience than someone commuting into Midtown every day. That's why I always encourage buyers to focus on their specific commute rather than relying on someone else's experience. Now, here's something else that doesn't get talked about enough. Every city has pros and cons, and Marietta is no exception. One thing some buyers don't love is that certain parts of Marietta feature older homes. While many people appreciate the character and mature landscaping that comes with established neighborhoods, others may prefer newer construction. Another consideration is that because Marietta is a desirable location, home prices in certain areas can be higher than some buyers initially expect. And as we've already discussed, traffic can be a factor depending on your commute. None of these things are necessarily deal breakers. They're simply realities that buyers should understand before making a move. Now remember the question I asked at the beginning of this video. The one thing people tell me after they've lived in Marietta for a while. Here it is. Most people move to Marietta because of its location, but they end up staying because of the lifestyle. They come here thinking that they'll spend more of their time in Atlanta, then they discover that many of their favorite restaurants are right here. Their favorite parks are right here. Their favorite events are right here. Their favorite weekend activities are, you guessed it, right here. What starts as a convenient location often becomes a community that genuinely enjoys being part of. And honestly, that's one of the biggest compliments a city can receive. Now, if we haven't met yet, I'm Jacquee Hart with Hart Realty Partners. Along with my good-looking husband, Greg, we help buyers relocate to Metro Atlanta and North Georgia every single year. If you're considering a move to Marietta, East Cobb, Kennesaw, Woodstock, Canton, Roswell, Alpharetta, or anywhere in the North Metro Atlanta area, we'd love to help. Give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email. We're happy to answer any questions, talk talk through different areas, discuss the market, or simply help you determine whether Marietta may be a good fit for you and your goals. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe. And because we've got more relocation guides, city tours, neighborhood breakdowns, and real estate insights coming your way, make sure you follow us for more information. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. And that's your Heart to Heart with your favorite hometown realtor, Jacquee Hart.